First tonight, a live look outside from our Eco-Plumber Skycam. Things looking calm right now, but we are undergoing a code red for tomorrow night. There's a risk for severe storms, flooding, and high winds.
Plus, large hail, a tornado threat are all possible. So we want to send things right over to Chief Meteorologist Natalie Walters, who's really going to be breaking down what we could be seeing. Natalie.
Yeah, over the past 24 hours or so, we really started to see our threat change a little bit, increase a little bit for our region. So we went to stay weather aware for the day tomorrow because we do have a risk for severe storms, damaging wind gusts. That's a concern. Could see some large hail. In fact, some very large hail, a potential out of this. Some localized flooding could be a concern, but we're also talking about the tornado potential for our region, mainly tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. We also have a risk for storms on Wednesday, but right now let's focus in on Tuesday. Currently have quieter weather across the area. We saw some showers earlier. That has since made its way out. Heading into tomorrow, we'll start to see more rain, more storms with the potential for strong to severe storms. There's our level 3 threat. That's what you see in orange. So we were under a level 2 threat earlier this morning, upgraded earlier this afternoon. Main concern going to be really along north of I-70. That would be our greatest potential for perhaps tornadoes across the region. So I'm going to pinpoint things coming up here in just a bit. But temperature wise, we're in the 60s. It's going to be a mild night, but also I think we could see some fog begin to develop, as well as a little bit of some drizzle around the area, lower 60s. So coming up, I will time out our severe risk and those storms.
Well, tonight we have an update on a disturbing death that's being investigated now as a homicide. The Kettering Police Department releasing new information about human legs found in Trotwood 2 weeks ago, and the victim's son is one of the main suspects here.
Jenna Lee Bork joining us live in studio tonight. So Jenna Lee, you've been actually following this investigation for several days now. So what stuck out to you about the new information released today?
Yeah, so there were a lot of details confirmed today, but really this investigation has led police to multiple locations, as you can see all of them on this map behind me. So there's been a lot to piece together. The victim's identity was confirmed today as well.
Found in a Trotwood driveway belonged to 75-year-old Edgar Kiter Sr. Kettering Police Chief Chip Krotzman explained how they identified him.
These legs were identified by the serial number from a knee replacement hardware.
According to a Trotwood police report, on Sunday, April 21st, a man noticed a white tarp and blue-green tote bag while cutting tree branches. The next day, April 22nd, a 911 text came into dispatch from that location in Trotwood. The texter saying a friend found a couple of trash bags at the end of his driveway with human legs in them. Trotwood officers confirming the legs were wrapped in the tarp on arrival. After identifying the remains, Trotwood PD learned the victim's address on Croftshire Drive in Kettering. So Kettering PD were asked on Friday, April 26th, to assist in the investigation.
A search warrant was executed at that residence, and the detectives discovered all the appliances and carpeting were missing.
The next day, the 27th, the landlord pursued criminal charges of theft. This investigation led to a suspect, Edgar Kiter Jr. By April 30th, police were looking for Kiter Jr.'s truck, and 2 counts of felony theft had been approved. Fairborn police found the truck on May 1st. Kiter Jr. wasn't inside, but was later arrested at his house.
Later that day, detectives discovered a storage unit associated with Kiter Jr. that was recently rented, and a search warrant was executed at that facility. While searching that storage unit, the detectives did discover other body parts of Kiter Sr.
One more address on Eastview Avenue was searched the same day. That's where the stolen items from the apartment were found. Then on May 3rd, Kiter Jr. was charged with 3 counts of tampering with evidence and 1 count of gross abuse of a corpse. Police saying the investigation is ongoing.
There are other individuals being sought by our detectives who we believe have some involvement in this incident.
Police are still waiting for the final report from the coroner's office, but they're continuing to investigate this as a homicide at this time. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Detective Amy Pedro with Kettering Police at 937-296-2460. Back to you.
Vandalia Butler City Schools and the City of Vandalia successfully and mutually reached a settlement on that tax revenue sharing dispute. Back in April, we first told you about the school district suing the city, claiming 3 decades of failing to share tax revenue that's generally required by the state of Ohio. Now the city will have to pay the school district $4.35 million over the next 2 years. The district already received $1.35 million. The rest will come in installments. The agreement also establishes a new threshold for when tax sharing will begin in the future. In a joint statement, the city and school district say the agreement, quote, represents a commitment to the ongoing partnership and shared goal of supporting both education and community development.
Dayton police need your help tonight to find this missing teenager. 12-year-old Tevin Bittner was last seen yesterday around 6 p.m. in the 1700 block of Montgomery Avenue. He was wearing a black fleece jacket, black jeans, and black Jordan shoes. He usually wears glasses, and his family is very concerned about his safety. If you know where he is tonight, you're urged to contact police 937-333-COPS or 937-222-STOP.
Tonight, we're getting a look at dash cam video, which you're seeing here behind me, after a road rage incident led an officer involved shooting. It happened early Sunday morning near State Route 4 and Chambersburg Road. Police say a victim called saying that someone shot out of their window and then rammed their car. When the victim tried to drive away, the suspect shot at them again, according to police. Police then say when officers got to the scene, the suspect drove off, leading them on a chase. Police then say the suspect was seen throwing objects out of the car. Watch the video here closely. The police tell us the suspect stopped on Taylorsville Road, got out of the car right here, and pointed an AR-15 style rifle at the officers. Police opened fire, shooting the suspect. The suspect was taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. That incident remains under investigation.
Well, police have just identified the 3 people killed in a Westchester crash over the weekend. There's 65-year-old Gregory Meyer, 52-year-old Patrick Pelton, and 54-year-old Nicole Collins. Now tonight, 911 callers sharing the chaotic moments before the crash happened. Witnesses say the driver who caused it was driving the wrong way on a busy road. Chelsea Sick has the updates.
I'm here on Cox Road, and it was just like literally a bad accident.
Just after 6 o'clock Sunday evening, a person calls 911 saying she just avoided a head-on collision on Cox Road in Westchester.
A maroon SUV that is driving the wrong direction erratically. About hit me head-on and about hit several others head-on.
And the calls just kept coming.
We avoided head-on collision by the people behind us.
I was driving eastbound on Cox Road, just coming off of the expressway to go to VOA, and a car was, SUV, I'm pretty sure it was going westbound in the eastbound lane, full bore, I don't know, but he was really flying and hit another car head on. The car like split in half. There's got to be deaths. There has to be.
That caller says he was driving towards VOA Metro Park from I-75. He was near Service Center Drive when he looked in his rearview mirror and saw this deadly crash. Westchester police say 2 people died at the scene. A third person died at Westchester Hospital. One of them, the person accused of driving the wrong way.
That was Chelsea Sick reporting back in our area. Now 2 people are recovering tonight after a crash involving 2 vehicles on a school bus in Beaver Creek. It happened around 3 o'clock this afternoon along North Fairfield and Kemp Roads. Police say the driver ran a red light when then it collided with another car, causing that car to hit the side of the school bus. A few kids were on the bus but are expected to be okay. The drivers of the other 2 vehicles were taken to the hospital.
And a live look now out at our roadways from our ODOT cameras. Drivers across the area can now expect to see some changes, particularly on I-75 in Montgomery County. A new contraflow lane being constructed on the popular interstate. Katja Hancock spoke to ODOT about why this new lane is so needed.
They say this is a part of a project they're doing on I-75 with the goal of having traffic flow more smoothly. The always busy I-75 sees many cars throughout the day, causing traffic to be overwhelming for drivers. Trying to eliminate this issue, ODOT has decided to construct a contraflow lane, now making a total of 3 lanes, which will keep traffic flowing at a good pace in both directions. Starting tonight, drivers traveling through Dayton need to pay close attention to these changes.
If you are traveling down I-75 southbound, but you're planning on taking one of the exits near the Dayton area, you probably want to stay in one of the other lanes. So if you're in the contraflow lane, you will not be able to access Needmore Road, Wagner Ford, Stanley Avenue, State Route 4, or Main Street.
Although they are unaware of a specific time, ODOT tells me that drivers can expect to start using the contraflow lane later this evening into overnight. Back to you.
Former President Donald Trump in contempt once again, while the judge is now threatening jail time. Next.
Plus, I'm tracking our code red weather alert level 3 threat for severe storms tomorrow. I'll time it out for you coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. A deputy-involved shooting in Liberty Township Saturday sent a man to the hospital and left a lot of questions unanswered tonight. David Winter has the 911 calls and the police radio traffic.
The first call came in Saturday about 11:15 a.m. It was the son of the man in question. He sounded like an older teen or maybe an adult. He said that he had been with his 55-year-old father that morning at the Lakota Springs Apartments about a mile west of Liberty Center Mall. He told the 911 operator that his dad is an alcoholic, he is trying to detox, and he's hallucinating. He then told the operator his dad had a loaded gun and threatened him with it. He was hoping the police could do a wellness check on him.
He ended up coming over to me on the couch, and I guess his hallucinations were getting worse. He was talking about, like, if you ever impersonate my son again, I'll kill you, he said to me. So I think it's like a big safety issue.
Here's the dispatcher speaking with the deputies as they arrived.
I got a visual on him on the opposite side.
Okay.
Where he does have a pistol on him. Shots fired.
Clear shots fired.
Shots fired.
Clear shots fired.
Control stripping his blood.
Okay.
Control got one in custody, stripping his blood.
Well, that was the moment that responding officers shot that man. It's unclear at this point how many times he was shot or if he ever shot back at the deputies. EMTs took him to the hospital. We are still waiting to hear from the Butler County Sheriff's Office about his condition.
Well, here's a live look from our EcoPlumber Skycam now. Calm before potentially some stormy conditions tomorrow. Let's check in with Natalie.
Yeah, that's why we have our code red weather alert for tomorrow afternoon and into the evening, tracking the risk for severe storms for our region. For right now, we are quiet. We're a little cloudy. It's muggy. I think we'll see some fog developing overnight. But bigger picture here, storms are off to our west. This is a part of our next weather maker. Wanted to take a quick look at what's going on in Oklahoma right now because there was a confirmed tornado causing catastrophic damage. In fact, it does look like the tornado has since fallen apart, but the Bartlesville area certainly hit hard by this. There was an area further to the southwest that has received a lot of damage. This is a high-risk day for parts of Oklahoma. We are not under a high risk for us here in the Miami Valley, but this is a very potent storm system that will be making its way in and that we will be needing to watch very closely. For right now, we're in the 60s across the area. It is a very mild night. There's a look at our threat, level 3 threat for most of the region. So to kind of break down what we're expecting with this tornado risk, it's a little higher than what we typically see, a 10% risk within 25 miles of a point. And with these black lines here, this is indicating a potential for perhaps a stronger tornado or two. So that's a potential for us. Winds also a concern, as well as some very large hail. Those black lines again meaning potentially greater than inch in diameter hail possible with storms that develop for our day tomorrow. Now keep in mind this is a risk. We want to just be aware, be prepared as we head into the day tomorrow, and we'll keep an eye on how things really begin to develop for us, but stay weather aware. So heading into the overnight hours, cloudier skies. We'll have a decaying system make its way in early into the day tomorrow. Could see some rumbles of thunder with that, but it's not until late into the afternoon and evening. This is indicating 6 p.m. potentially some storms developing. Now these storms would pose the greatest risk to become severe, so we'll watch those very closely. That makes that way northeastward, followed by another line making its way through later into the evening before that begins to taper off. And we have another risk on Wednesday. I'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit.
Former President Donald Trump held in contempt for violating his gag order for the 10th time. That's in his New York hush money trial. The judge said going forward he's going to consider jail time, noting the previous $9,000 in fines has not stopped him from violating the order. The former president insists the order violates his constitutional rights.
As you know, they've taken away my constitutional rights, so I'm not allowed to answer that question. This has never happened in this country before. It's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous case. I did nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong.
Now today, former Trump Organization executive Jeffrey McConney testified that checks were cut to Michael Cohen in exchange for paying off Trump's alleged affairs. Trump is charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to cover up those affairs. This is just one of 4 criminal cases against him right now. Trump denies all wrongdoing.
Big news in the Middle East. Hamas has agreed to a ceasefire deal proposed by Egypt and Qatar. Now, the proposal outlines a phased release of Israeli hostages held by Hamas with a gradual withdrawal of IDF troops, ending with a permanent ceasefire. But Israel says the plan that Hamas has agreed to is different than the one Israel helped create. So Israel has not agreed to it. The State Department says a ceasefire and hostage release remains the top priority for everyone involved.
We continue to believe that a hostage deal is in the best interests of the Israeli people. It's in the best interest of the Palestinian people. It would bring an immediate ceasefire. It would allow increased movement of humanitarian assistance.
President Biden has been briefed on the matter. Now, he did speak with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu before Hamas announced it had accepted a ceasefire proposal.
As those talks continue for a ceasefire, Israel has begun striking targets in Rafah. At this hour, Israeli tanks have entered the community and Israel is ordering civilians to evacuate. But many are worried areas outside the city would not be suitable for human habitation. And for those who don't flee, aid agencies are warning of a humanitarian catastrophe, potential bloodbath. Now, the U.S. State Department says civilians will be going to areas that are not prepared to take them in.
But the problem now is there's such limited places for them to go inside Gaza, and there is no effective way to distribute aid to them and make sure they have access to shelter, access to sanitation in the places that they would go if, say, you had hundreds of thousands of people moving from Rafah.
About 1.5 million people are sheltering in Rafah. The UN says almost half are children.
A local award meant to raise awareness about suicide and honor a young man's life. We're going to take a look at this year's winner and the impact they're making.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The winner of the Brandon Sawyer's Community Champion Award was announced today by Doug and Beth Mann. Now this ahead of the Pride Rocks event later in the month. Brandon Sawyer's was an ex-boyfriend of Doug and Beth Mann's son. He passed away due to suicide. The award is meant to spread awareness about suicide within the LGBTQIA+ community. And this year the winner is a local psychologist, Dr. Caprice Lambert.
So this year we're really excited to partner with Beth and with Doug and to honor an individual who has these outstanding contributions to suicide prevention, right? With this Brandon Sawyer's Community Advocate Award. And the goal is really that we want to lift those people up, that we want to encourage folks to be that change in the community.
Well, the Pride Rocks event will be hosted May 18th by the NCCJ of Greater Dayton at Levitt Pavilion. Now that event will feature positive messages on painted rocks meant to spread awareness about suicide. And if you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts or their mental health, please text or call 988. That's the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can talk to someone 24/7, 365 days a year.
Seniors 55 and up can save some extra money this Wednesday at all Kroger stores in our area. All you got to do is use your Kroger loyalty card or alternate ID. Tell the cashier you're eligible. Then you'll get 5% off your entire in-store purchase. Now, this event is meant to help seniors save on pantry staples, fresh produce, over-the-counter medications, and household essentials. There are some exclusions, though, that includes alcohol, tobacco, gas, stamps, lottery, and prescriptions. Now, the corporate affairs manager for the Cincinnati-Dayton division of the store saying in part, quote, "This extra discount for our senior shoppers is one way we're helping our customers get more out of their grocery budget." Well, Mother's Day is coming up, and you could win some extra money from Mom this week by playing Mother's Day Mania. We're giving away a $100 prepaid debit card each day. Just watch your day. Look for that Mother's Day Mania QR code. Get the question right, you could win $100 and then be entered for a chance to win the $5,000 weekly drawing. Play Mother's Day Mania all week long.
Getting an up-close look at how Earth and space work, the fun event happening in Kettering, and how Natalie got to take part.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.